a little bit in a circle, a little bit of palm exercise. And then can you just kind of, wave your fingers like this? Let's have just for one moment, everybody can put your video on and let's wave our fingers. Like let's flash some fingers. It looks so beautiful on the screen. All of us in all different locations flashing our fingers. Thank you so much for being here. You are all, yes, now you can slowly put your fingers down, but you can leave your video on if you feel like. Okay, you don't have to put your video off. So if you feel like, it's wonderful to see some smiling faces as we speak. Like I said, all of you are pioneers. All of you are misfits in some way, because you are looking for something new, something fresh. And obviously the fact that you responded to our message and you're here this evening, which means you're looking for change, you're looking for a new way, and you're looking to bring the best of what's worked in the past and what we think is going to work in the future. So thank you for being here. Your presence gives us a lot of energy. I'm going to begin a little presentation with some slides. And what I want to do over here is quickly, I'm going to take a few minutes to introduce who we are, what we've been doing. Then I'm going to take a few minutes to share with all of us what is the problem that we're really trying to solve for, the problem that we see in higher education, the way it works currently, and how we aim to solve for it. And then I'm going to share and talk about what you're all here for. That is, we're going to launch a new program for the very first time today. I believe for the very first time in India, maybe for the very first time anywhere in the world. So we are Let's Enterprise, and we have been doing what we do, which is running a program called the Enterprise India Fellowship for the last 5 years. 5 years back, we began this, and we began it as a one-year program for people who are interested in developing an entrepreneurial mindset, who want to learn experientially, who want to learn by doing. And I have to say that we could do this. We could even do this 5 years back, launch a program like this, because the 5 years before that, that is from -10 to -5 years, I was running another program called Dancing with Tigers, where I had the beautiful opportunity of working very, very closely with about 1,200 young people over 5 years, and understanding what their needs are, what are their problems, what are the frustrations. And that's when we realized that, experiential education and young people are restless to actually get out there. Just like I think anybody, all of us are restless to get out there, to do something, to roll up our sleeves, to solve a problem, to do things experientially, right? So my name is Aditya Jhunjhunwala, and I've been working with young people as a facilitator and a coach, and I've been blessed to work as a team with some wonderful colleagues, people who are dedicated and passionate about education, passionate about, like I said, rolling up the sleeves, working, solving, getting things done. That's a glimpse of the people that we work with. Some of them, of course, work part-time and do other things, and some of them are fully involved with us. I have put some names in bold. Those are a part of our full-time team who work with us in running the various programs that we do. Now, what we really dream about and what's important to us, and if I were to say that, okay, once we complete our work, let's say we are super successful with what we want to do, and the world has changed the way we want it to change, what would the world look like? That's the vision, right, that any organization speaks about. And our vision is a world where abundance, where all of us can create financial, emotional, every type of abundance by following our passion and purpose. That's our vision. That's what we want to really work for. And let's say that's in the distant future. But our mission, which is what we are trying to do right now towards that vision, is cultivating an entrepreneurial mindset, which means a mindset that says, I don't have, but I will create. I don't know, but I will learn. That kind of a mindset is what I'm calling as an entrepreneurial mindset. So our mission is to cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset in people through limitless learning, right? And when I say limitless learning, that means learning across various modes, across different types of experiences, and across our lifetime, right? So this is really what we are all about and what we are trying to do. So all of our programs attempt to bring together these three aspects of learning, right? Which is education, which is about knowledge and facts and concepts, and experience, which is about application and doing, which we all very well understand, but also a very important ingredient, that is awareness, right? Reflection and awareness and knowledge of myself, which I believe closes the learning loop and helps it to move forward and get accelerated, right? Just a few statistics to have a look at over the last 5 years, running the Enterprise India Fellowship, what we've been able to do. This is a program which is completely project-based. So students work on real-life projects with actual companies, on real-life problems, with industry mentors, and working as consultants, as well as working hand in hand with decision makers and founders to help them solve actual problems. And we've had people from multiple cities. We've worked with lots of different organizations across different industries. And one thing that I want to point your attention to is that on an average, each of the program participants over a year has put in almost 380 hours, has documented almost 380 hours of project work. Okay, and that has totally amounted to, across our 74 program participants, to 15,600 and odd hours of documented project work. This is a really, really important metric for us in the way we run our programs. And all this is done by these people. These are the people who have been a part of our Enterprise India Fellowship for the last 5 years. And you can see many of them are on this call. Many of them are outside the room where I'm sitting. You can see them all sitting over there. And this whole magic is because of our partners and fellows who are part of this journey and have allowed us to really experiment with experiential learning and develop over these last 5 years a bunch of modules that makes all this happen. Say hi to all our partners and fellows. Woohoo!
Hello, everyone.
These guys are treasure, and that's what gives us the confidence that what we are about to talk to you about this evening is possible. Just one quick complicated pie chart to kind of stun you. I know the font is very small, you can't read, but this is just the different industries in which partners have engaged, our participants have engaged in the last 5 years for projects and for mentoring, right? Right from automobile to yoga to manufacturing to artificial intelligence. And why I'm sharing this right now is because this question about which industry, which stream should I focus on? And, when I do experiential, where will I get to experience? We say it should be diverse, at least in the beginning. Be diverse, explore and experiment with different things until you slowly, keep refining. And that's possible because all these industries are right here in our cities, in our country where we live. You have fantastic entrepreneurial people doing this kind of work. And our students have worked on these projects. And we are blessed that some of our work has been recognized in the form of awards and publications in terms of experiential education, in terms of social impact, in terms of innovation in learning, etc. But all this is because of the work and the actual project work put in by our partners and fellows. Okay, so that's who we are and where we come from. Let me talk to you now about three things, okay, that three problems, or let me say opportunities that we see in the higher education world that we are attempting to solve for. And I feel all of these, there's a lot of research to back them up, but all of them are very common sense. And I'm hoping that all of us will be able to relate with some, if not all of these, right? So first, one big problem that we want to solve for is student motivation. Okay, how motivated do we feel going to school or going to college? How much do we feel like getting up and going out there and solving a problem, right? This is a huge problem that the entire education industry is grappling with. And I'm not saying that we are going to solve it, but this is the problem that we need to look at closely. And let's go to the next slide. the first day when you enter a college, and if all of you can go back to your first day when you got into, after 12th standard into that college of your dreams, and you see 3 months, 6 months from now, there's going to be that big thing called an exam, and you are here on day 0, and you got to head to that, right? And so there's a path you take, and we expect that that path is going to be like this, which means I'm going to work consistently. Every week I'm going to study, I'm going to learn, and week on week and week and week, I'm going to progress. How difficult can it be? It's like walking on a nice staircase, right? Or almost like an airport elevator. I'm going to zip across and it's going to work. And that's what we all want. That's all we all desire and we all hope for. But what actually happens very often, and it's happened for me, is this, which is suddenly you wake up and you realize, oh God, exams are 1 week from now. And now we are all fantastic at making black coffee, pulling in some one-nighters, cramming it all in. And lo and voila, it's done. You give your exams. Now, all of us live some version of this, right? Often enough. And those of us who don't, it's fantastic. But this is one challenge. And how do we keep this level of motivation up? Through a series of challenges, through a series of involvements. And of course, there's going to be ups and downs. But how do we avoid this thing of complete blank out and then suddenly last couple of weeks where all the action happens, which is a reality in my time when I did engineering. And I know from a lot of my young friends who are doing engineering, BBA, BA, it continues to be a reality quite often. The second problem that I want to speak about is simple word confusion. And almost every coaching session that I've had with students and with families, this one question comes up, and that is, what is right for me? What should I actually be doing? What direction should I take? What is the right career? What are the skills that are right for me? Right. And this is a question that hounds youngsters, okay, very often, until we reach a stage where we've explored and we've tried and we've struggled. It's a question that can be very, very troubling. Now, that's one of the things that we are attempting to solve for in this program. But for right now, what I want to share is one simple thing that I would like all of us to think about is, as a thought experiment, if you were to take every single career, every possible career, and if we were to just put it into 2 buckets, right? I would say, I would want you to think of those 2 buckets as, on one side, being capability-based careers, and on one side, qualification-based careers. Now, I know what's running in your mind. Even a qualification-based career needs you to be capable, and even a capability-based career needs you to have qualifications. I agree with that. But if you were to think of this as a spectrum, and if you were to plot every career somewhere on the spectrum, these 2 groups would look like, on one side, you'll see qualification-based careers. If you're going to be a lawyer, or if you're going to be a surgeon, and if you're going to operate on me, I would like you to have qualifications, right? So there are certain careers which need to follow a certain trajectory, and they need certain checkpoints and qualifications and certifications to happen for us to progress, right? But on the left-hand side, you'll also see, and of course, they need capability too. So that's why I put that right. And on the left, you'll see that there are certain careers which are driven more by my capability, my ability to learn, my ability to dynamically on the go evolve, right? It's, as an entrepreneur, nobody asks me about my certificate, or as an artist or as a leader. Of course, qualifications help, but what really drives my growth is capability, right? So one of the simple things that I suggest for people to do is think of which direction you think. So where on the spectrum do you think you want to go? You may not know exactly what your career is, but which of these buckets do you think you're tending towards? And that really helps. And as a little, the program that we are speaking about and our programs, they are very clearly oriented for people on the left-hand side bucket, which are capability-oriented careers. So if you're looking at being an architect or a doctor, the programs that we do, they cannot be a complete all-encompassing program for you. But if you're looking at a career on the left-hand side, right, what we are speaking about, experiential education combined with qualification and degree, can work really, really well for you. Okay, so that was the second problem that we're trying to solve for in terms of confusion, self-awareness, and clarity. Let's go to the next slide. The third big thing that we are looking at really solving through our programs is this thing called the industry academics gap. Now, what exactly is this? When I go and speak to my friends who are in the industry, who are entrepreneurs, who are founders, who recruit people, they tell me कि लोग नहीं मिलते. I mean, I can't find people with the right abilities, with the right qualities, with the right attitudes, right? And I'm sure all of you have heard this, experienced this. But when I go and speak to my young friends, they say, Adi, I can't find the right kind of jobs. I don't find jobs which are challenging, where I get, freedom, where I can do things. I don't get those. So there's this big valley in between these two. And this gap exists because of a very simple reason. Let me tell you about that. So first, this question that every youngster, most youngsters have in their mind, and so did we. What career should I choose? What skills should I focus on, right? Now, what is right for me? So if you were to imagine running an ice cream shop and you have all these different flavors of ice creams, right? Now you have to choose. Let's say these flavors are your career and you have to choose which is the flavor, right? You don't know because you have to go through a journey, you have to explore it. It's not something that you can decide immediately. But still, right now, I finished my 12th standard and now is the time when I can actually do something about it. So there's this crazy pressure that now I want to do something about it and develop skills, but I don't know exactly which skills. So how do I solve this conflict? And you know what? It's actually really simple to solve this conflict. And the answer is vanilla ice cream. Why vanilla ice cream? Because every one of those flavors is made up of 70 or 80% vanilla ice cream. And then you add a little strawberry, it's strawberry ice cream. And then you add a little blueberry, it's blueberry ice cream. You add a little chocolate chips or Oreo cookie, it becomes chocolate chip ice cream, right? The bulk of it is vanilla ice cream. And if you have good quality vanilla ice cream in place, it is so easy to make a flavor, right? Now, this is very true in careers. The word is transferable skills. We forget about transferable skills and all our attention is on domain skills, on those flavors, on acquiring that. But you know what? Domain skills take a decade to build. That's where your masters and further education, etc., comes in. Right now is the time for transferable skills. And many of us who are familiar with the education rubrics of education would have seen this capability triangle, right? It's called knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Right? It's very important when we say, what do I want to learn, is to be able to differentiate between knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Skills is what I can do. I can write code, I can paint, I can do a debate. These are skills. Okay. Attitudes are the way I think and the way I respond to situations, the way I show up. These are behaviors. Very, very, very important. And this is where a large part of this industry academic gap comes from. And the third piece is knowledge, which is what we learn in our textbooks: theories, concepts, facts, figures, subjects, right? So you have to understand that your learning experience and your capability, which is going to make you a performer in the industry, is made up of these three. What often happens is we end up focusing only on this. Let's go back. We end up focusing only on this. And unless we complete this capability triangle, you'll find that this gap exists. You'll find that you're not able to really go out and get things done, right? So that's what we're trying to do. One, bridge this capability gap. Two, help create a process that will help people to explore and start understanding themselves and choose a direction, but until then, not waste their time. And what was the first one? Motivation, the motivation gap, right? To keep, if I can use these 3 years of my life going into college after 12 with energy, with motivation, doing the things that I want to do, having the failures and successes, imagine what can happen in 3 years. It's such a golden period in our life, right? Okay, I'm going to change gears a bit. And just before I go into what this evening is really about, sharing about the program, I just want to say one last piece of gyan based on whatever little experience that I've had coaching hundreds of youngsters. One thing that I have seen, what everybody really wants, every youngster, if you ask them a few more questions, and I'm sure about this, every parent only talks about 3 things that they want for their kid. One, I want to find what is my thing. Okay, let me find what's my thing. I want to find that skill, that direction, etc. This is what everybody wants. Two, I want to grow. I want to grow. I want to be recognized. I want to be paid well. I want to make enough money. I want to have recognition, all that. And I want to be happy, right? Every parent in the world only wants these three things for their kid. I'm very, very sure about it. Okay. And what does it take to have these things? You can have a look up there. I propose here are a couple of things, a bunch of things that it takes. Exploration, but just exploring without commitment does not lead to capability. Some qualification, certainly some knowledge, but once again, capability, performance, which comes with lifelong learning, which comes with that attitude that I will learn, I will find out. Today, you cannot be satisfied with just what you get served to you in textbooks. We all know that. And of course, it has to go along with self-awareness, with understanding of who am I, what am I good at, what do I like, what moves me, what gives me energy to wake up in the morning and do. These are important questions to be asked. And of course, having the right kind of people around me. Okay. So the question is that how do we bring all these things together in a 3-year undergraduate experience? So, drum rolls, please. This is what we are speaking about this evening, and we want to introduce this concept of a working degree, okay, which is 3 years of your life. A normal bachelor's program typically would look like the triangle on the left-hand side with a good amount of classroom learning and some amount of experiential. And now what the working degree does as a new category is flip this to increase the amount of experiential and reflective and real life learning that you have. Okay. Now, this does not come at the cost of your academic learning. Why is that? Because as you can see, the size of the pie is increased. The triangle is bigger. The right triangle is bigger than the left triangle. Why is it bigger? Very simple, because normally you have maybe 2, 3, 4 hours of lectures and assignments in a day. Typically, if you're doing a BBA, BA, BSc, even engineering degree, it's a couple of hours in a day and a little bit of maybe assignment work, right? The rest of the time is other stuff. Okay. I don't want to pass a judgment on the other stuff, but it's other stuff. Now, the point is that if we can make the rest of the time a lot more engaging with projects, with apprenticeships, with challenges, with travel, with experiential learning, then that becomes really, that's actually fun. I meet so many people who tell me, I have the whole day in college and we hang around, but I'm getting bored. I want to do stuff. That restless energy is there. It's actually fun when you're busy. I have asked this question to many, many groups of people, what is fun? And the answer I consistently get after a few rounds of questions is fun is when time goes by and I don't know how. That's fun, right? And that happens when I'm working on a mission. That happens when I'm working to solve a challenge with the people who are equally motivated than me. That's fun. Imagine when you're organizing a party or you're organizing a travel plan for something, or you're doing something in your society. When you're on that mission mode, and we've all been there, that is fun. Time goes by. Right. So that's what the working degree is about. It's about getting out there, getting your hands dirty and applying all those concepts to solve real life problems. Okay. So the program that we want to speak to you about this evening, and this is the final piece of what I want to share. I'll take another 10 minutes or so, and then I'm going to open it up to any questions, discussions, suggestions that you may have, because like I said, all of you who are here this evening, I believe, are pioneers, because you responded to this message only because you're already thinking differently, because you're already questioning some things and you're looking for a new path. So thank you for being here, all 62 of us, and giving us energy. The program that we are speaking about and that we are excited to launch is the undergraduate program in multidisciplinary entrepreneurial development. Multidisciplinary, very, very important word. Entrepreneurial mindset, which is this ability, this thought that I don't know, but I will learn. I want to solve. I don't have the resources, but I'll figure out how to get it. That's what it's about. It's not about starting a business. It's about any career, any walk of life, this attitude that I want to solve, right? So undergraduate program in multidisciplinary entrepreneurial development. And we believe it's India's very first working degree. Okay. The key things that I want to quickly share about is completely in alignment with how the NEP is designed and the recommendations of the NEP in terms of multidisciplinary, in terms of experiential, in terms of self-reflection, in terms of building portfolios. Okay, it's a 3-year program for students who have completed their 12th, who are interested in a career related to any kind of entrepreneurship, any kind of business, any kind of art, any kind of and they want to use these 3 years to actually get out there, experiment, explore, and learn experientially. In this program, it's going to be about having 3 apprenticeships of 3 months in the second year and a long apprenticeship in the third year. So the second and third year are actually out there working. This program also includes a lot of career coaching, and in running the Enterprise India Fellowship, we've realized that coaching, one-to-one coaching, reflective conversations while you're going and doing an apprenticeship, you're going and learning something, and then you're having a coaching conversation about what did I like, what did I not like, what am I good at. When you have a series of these conversations through those 3 years, it helps to build clarity. It helps to build decision frameworks. It's not just one conversation on which you can decide your career, right? And the last point over here I've written is networking and stories. That's a very, very important point, because we train our students not to get placements in a college where companies come and recruit you, but we train our students to build their portfolio, get onto LinkedIn, find opportunities, write to CEOs and tell them that, hey, this is what I do. This is my body of work. I like what you're doing in your company. Do you think I can come and work with you for 3 months? And you know what? Most CEOs so rarely get that request that the moment they get something like that, they're like, wow, this is different, right? So we train our students to network and to build their story, because it's your story that sells. Okay, so let's go ahead to the next slide. So this program, this slide is an attempt to tell you how this program is structured at a very high level. So the dark arrow is your usual BBA curriculum. Okay, so we are working with a UGC approved university. In fact, there are a few of them who are excited to do this with us, which gives their curriculum, their textbook. So every semester there are 6 subjects, there is an exam, there are a couple of, that is your standard BBA curriculum that runs through this program. But this program is not about that, it's about more than that. That's why you see that the UGMED, the light blue, the teal arrow is bigger, because this program it uses up a lot more of your time. And the thin arrow is where you are completing and going through the BBA curriculum process. And we apply all those concepts in the apprenticeships and projects that we work on, right? So this program is composed of these 2 big major elements. Now, if you look at it, it's structured in terms of 3 years. Year 1 is a prep year. Okay, so the first 6-7 months of the year 1 is hardcore skilling up, hardcore breaking comfort zones, learning things that really matter, getting out there into the city, visiting companies, visiting businesses, talking to people, putting up events, making a product, all those kind of things. 6-7 months of intense activity. Okay, and there's going to be failures, there's going to be successes, there's going to be some competition, there's going to be cooperation, there's going to be collaboration. And in that year, you actually break down a couple of times and recreate yourself. That's the truth of it. Okay, because it's not going to happen without some challenge and some difficulty. So the year 1 is really, really crucial. The year 2 is about 3-month long apprenticeships or projects. Okay, so the year 2 is when the working degree begins, in the sense that you are actually out there in companies. So we have tied up with 40 to 50 companies, organizations, entrepreneurs in Pune, with formal MOUs, where you will have an opportunity to go and work on what we call as a mentored apprenticeship. And I'll talk about that a little bit more as we go ahead. Year 3 is about 1 9-month long apprenticeship at one firm. So year 1 is a prep year. Year 2 is a year of 3 apprenticeships, along with some events, along with your BBA curriculum, along with coaching conversations, right? And you're getting to kind of understand where you fit, what you want to do. And year 3, you're actually going ahead and you're going to spend 9 months at one company. Okay. Now, one thing that I want to say, throughout year 2 and year 3, you're out in Pune, working at a company, solving a problem, but you're not alone, because even in this 5 days, you're at that company working with them. And one day you come to Let's Enterprise. And that's when our team of mentors will talk to you, understand what you did in the week gone by, what your plans are for the week coming in, and how you are moving, how you are completing the goal or the problem statement given by the company. So each of these apprenticeships, we will be in touch with the company. We will be in touch with the with a point of contact in the company. We will understand the problem statement that are given, and we will work with you closely to solve that problem statement. This is the difference between this mentored apprenticeship and an internship. It's not that you just go there, do something, and come back. Okay, let's move ahead. This is a little breakdown. I won't go into it in detail, but we can share the program prospectus with those of you who are interested. This is a breakdown. I'll just explain the structure. So the blue boxes at the bottom are the standard BBA curriculum. So you will have the standard BBA curriculum. You will have some tuition, some textbooks, some video for this curriculum. You'll have, some support from our side, but a lot of it, especially in year 2 and year 3, will be self-study. Okay. The gray boxes are what we call as the learning tracks. So there are 9 learning tracks that we have built. These are challenge-based learning tracks, which are self-paced but supported by us. And they help you build 9 fundamental real-life professional skills. For example, data and visualization. For example, written communication, which we believe is critical in any profession today, and we are really bad at it. Research and analysis. If I tell you, okay, go and do a study of furniture businesses in Pune and what are the different price points at which furniture is being sold, you should be able to go and visit 40 stores and put that on an Excel sheet and make some presentations and come back and present that information. It's a fundamental ability. Legal and commercial, art and literature. Art and literature, everybody needs to have exposure to art and literature, because that's how our imagination develops. When I read, when I imagine, when I look at fiction, when I create, that's how our ability to imagine develops. Okay. So the gray boxes are learning tracks, right? And the most important boxes are the teal boxes, the light green boxes, which are experiential tracks. So in the first year, you will see that there is a traveling project, there's a green room and Karo, there's a kickstart, which are internal Let's Enterprise projects. And there's the first apprenticeship, which is in the middle of year 1 and year 2. Then year 2, there is 2 more apprenticeships. There's an individual project. And like you can see in year 3, there's one big apprenticeship, okay, along with one important learning track. Okay, let's go to the next slide. All right, so that's the program. An obvious question that's on all our mind is, where is this going to happen? Where's your campus? How many acres of land do you have? None. This all happens in a smart campus mode. So we have a nice, cozy, very friendly, but also action-oriented space in Pune, in Koringa Park, called Let's Enterprise. So the youngsters that you see who are sitting in the camera, and one of these cameras, are at our space. So that's going to be the central space. And the idea is that, why should you be limited to one campus? Why should I studied at a fantastic 30-acre campus in Ahmedabad. But honestly, when I look back, I feel it was like I was on an island. I don't know what the city was all about, but I feel the real learning and experiential learning is going to happen out there in the hundreds of organizations, individuals, and businesses that the city holds, that the city is host to, right? So Smart Campus is about, we've actually tied up with 5 different spaces. Here, I've only been able to show 4. One of them, of course, is our space. So at the center is our space in Pune, Let's Enterprise, where the students will check in every morning in the first year. And there's a debrief, there's a discussion, there's some concept that we look at, there's a challenge that they are working on, or a project. And then they move out. They move out into the city. So they might have to go and visit some part of the old city. They might have to go and do some observation in some cake shop. They might have to go and walk along the riverside and take notes. They might have to go to one of these. So we have these 5 different campus spaces that we've tied up with. Okay, so one of them is an art studio. in Pune, which is about 10 minutes from Enterprise, which is called Adipa. One of them is a electronics design and manufacturing facility called Klug Avalon, where we have space and we have understanding to do, deep projects with them. One of them is a factory where homeware and cookware products are produced, and they're one of the only factories in Pune which has brought in 6-axis robots and new technology to build products. And the other one is one of our founders space called Boreali Studio, which is a very, very innovative resin art and furniture space in Pune. So here are spaces where our students can go and do work, do projects, sit down, brainstorm, have meetings for the rest of the day. Okay. So that is how the concept of smart campus works. And the underlying philosophy is something that we got with one of our program advisors, Professor David Gould from the University of Iowa, who introduced this idea to us that the city is your school, right? Let's use the resources in the city, because that's how real life is. You will go out there and meet multiple people and get things done. And we want to make that happen right from year one. A little bit about the mentored projects and apprenticeships. So there's a bunch of large, medium, and small companies that we've spoken to. The companies here that I've mentioned are not all that we have existing MOUs in place, but each of these companies, we know the founders and they are excited about what we do. We've already got about 25, 26 MOUs in place. Usually companies and founders are very excited when we speak about this concept to them. So there's a bunch of really interesting organizations in Pune that we've tied up with, and that list continues to grow. Go to the next one. Now, you may say that what is a 19 or a 20-year-old going to go and do in a company? I don't want you to be just making coffee or doing Xeroxes, right? But each of these companies, we will take a problem statement from them that they want solved, that they really care about. So it could be things like this, user research or recruitment campaigns or market or product. And for each of these problem statements in these last 5 years, we've actually worked with students on projects, and we have built a process, a series of steps and a series of knowledge that you need to acquire to get those steps done. So we have these templates and we continue to build new templates. So you're not just going to the company and doing something, but you're going there on a mission, on a problem. You have a pathway to solve that problem, and you have some people who will help you to get unstuck when you get stuck, because you're surely going to get stuck. Okay. What's at the end of it all? At the end of these 3 years, am I going to start a business? Am I going to get a job? Well, you could start a business. You could build your own career. You could go for further education. We want you to think about an entrepreneurial job where you're not just a spoke in the wheel amongst 10,000 people, where you're in the center of the wheel, where you're close. You can't be in the center, but where you're close to the center. So you're working as an executive assistant, or you're working close to a decision maker. So typically this would be in a smaller or a medium-sized organization. And if they see that you're capable enough, 21, 22-year-old, smart, asks good question, gets things done. I give a task, that task happens, or I get a call, I don't know how to do this. Can you please help me with this? I find a person like that, very quickly they become your right-hand person, right? And the idea is that you spend a couple of years working in an entrepreneurial job like this, seeing how does the entrepreneur think, function, work, do, take decisions, struggle, lead their team. That's how we get learning by induction. And in those 2-3 years, many of our fellows from the Enterprise India Fellowship are doing this kind of work. I have some of their stories which I can share later if we have time. But this is where we say that 3 years do this. By the time you've graduated after these 3 years, you've got a degree, you've got 2 years of actual work experience, you worked in 3 or 4 different industries, you've got real life skills that matter. You should be someone, by the time you're 21, 22, who can walk into an organization and from month 1 start solving problems. Let me tell you, that does not hold true for an average MBA or even an above average MBA today. Let's go to the next slide. So here are some tangible takeaways, concrete things that you would have at the end of this undergraduate program in multidisciplinary entrepreneurial development. Recommendation letters from at least 4 or 5 companies we work. A digital portfolio of everything you've done in 3 years. You're going to make it, not us, but we're going to make sure you make it. A blog, because this is a process that we do throughout. Your own blog of your reflective writing, what we call as conflection. You're going to have a professional network of 20 to 30 people, peers and mentors who you've worked with. Now, let me tell you, when you walk into a company as an employee, as a team member, you don't just walk in by yourself. You walk in with your network. And if you have an actual network, today if I tell, Daria, who's a part of our team, that, hey, do you know somebody who does catering? And he says, yes, I know someone who can do catering. And if I say that, oh, do you know someone who can, kind of create an email campaign for me? And he says, yes. You are coming with your entire network. So your professional network is a tangible takeaway at the end of these 3 years. An assured entrepreneurial job opportunity, a 6-month handshake period of support, even after you get your job, to make sure that you groove in. 1 year of mentoring support for a few selected students who decide to start their own project or business. A BBA degree from a UGC approved university. Professional skills and confidence, like I said, to walk in and make a difference. And a personal career blueprint. Let's go ahead. And finally, simple application process that we have. I can talk about this after some time. Let me stop here. I overshot time a little bit. But last thing that I want to say is that every one of us has the right to win in our life, whatever you define as winning. The right to find yourself, the right to explore, and the right to create value. And that's what Let's Enterprise is all about. So thank you once again for being here, for being a pioneer, for thinking that this thought matters. This is our very first public announcement of this program. So I'm nervous. I'm speaking about it out there with this program for the very first time. Thank you for smiling. And thank you for the questions you're going to ask now. So the floor is open and would love to hear thoughts, comments, and questions. Yes. Yes, I can see Ishitva. Just you can unmute yourself, Ishitva, and share what you have to. I can see Sham has also his hand up. Ishitva, would you like to go first?
Just a second, Adi.
Okay, so we can take Sham until then.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, Sham.
Hey, I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I mean, it sounds very, it's like, an idea whose time has come, as I keep on saying. So it looks very nice and very well thought out. Just a couple of questions, actually.
Sure.
My personal experience, I had recommended somebody the D.Y. Patil Open University for the BBA program. It was some 3 or 4 years ago. And I know from personal experience that that is almost like a dummy degree, in the sense that D.Y. Patil at such online degree program, it hardly amounts to anything. So this is an area of concern to me.
Yes, I completely hear you, Sham. And our response is very simple, that like I said, there are a couple of UGC approved online programs, and we also have an understanding with a college in Pune that has a tie-up with Pune University. So we can also have a Pune University degree. But the point is like this, that if you ask me, one perspective is that at the end of the day, does that degree matter, or does what you have done matter? Yes, the degree matters. So you need to have a degree that is UGC approved, because if you go to an international, if you want to go to the USA to do a master's, the only thing that they're going to look at is your degree UGC approved, right? Unless you are amongst the top tier colleges. If you're from an IIT or if you're from one of the top tier colleges, then they will recognize that college. But if you're from tier 2, tier 3, it's pretty much all the same. Then they're only going to look at, is it UGC approved? And then they're going to look at your resume, right? So yes, it's a fair concern. But what we've looked at is that the degree is a hygiene factor. You want to have a UGC approved degree.
Yep, got it. I mean, I fully understand what you are driving at, which means that primarily learning has to be through the interaction, and it has to be facilitated by enterprise, let us say. And the university as such, it will just be helping you getting a degree. That's it.
That's about it. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And the truth is that when you go for your master's, or if you're going for a job in any good company, the degree is a basic hygiene factor. What's going to matter is what you can do, what you can show that you can do, what you can demonstrate. We all understand that. And we need to have that degree hygiene factor as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
This is the challenge, and this is where we are trying to, bridge these worlds, make sure that we have the hygiene factor and make sure that we build the actual capability. So thanks for bringing that point out, Sham. I'm happy to discuss this deeper with you and solve. Yeah,
And,
I can see a few more hands. So we have Ishitwa. Are you ready to ask?
Yeah. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes, so Adi, actually, we have met before, frankly. So you discussed this program with me earlier when I was in Pune. So frankly, I was a bit excited about that. So like the basic question is that when it's gonna happen, like when it's gonna start.
I like that question. It's going to start on the 7th of August, is the date that we have.
Yeah, right. So we just wanted to know that because when I met you, I was already so much you say speechless a bit, obviously, because I was so I like the program very much because of the practical skills rather than the book skills that we got to know in the college. So I like the program very much. On our first meeting, Ankita was there to explain. She explained it wonderfully. So, yeah, I just wanted to ask that.
Yes.
I'm
Thanks
pleased to join.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I can see Nandita has a question and Prasanna has a question. Nandita, would you like to go first?
Aditya, hi. There are three of us here. So that's Shalu, her daughter Shamla, and this is Jaydeep,
Hi.
my husband. So I think all three of us have questions. So maybe if someone else has a question, because then we can kind of.
Okay, but you can go with one question and then we
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead. A very exciting and interesting approach, and so definitely all the best for this. It's really needed.
Thank you.
Immediate impression. I'm just asking a couple of questions. First is, let's say there are two youngsters, like say 19. One is somewhat, he is interested in a few things. He thinks he wants to be in anime or something of that kind. The other one has no clue as to what he wants. Very like the world is open, but really don't know what to do. How will their tracks be different in this process? That is
beautiful.
The second thing is, of course, it's going to be a big learning for you people also, because it's the first time. What's your feedback loop in the process, let's say in the first year, second year, as the mentoring happens, for you yourself to immediately respond to these situations, and learning experiences, feedback from the students, what's happening. That's, I think, going to be critical, and how a viewer.
Yes, absolutely. No, thanks for both those questions. They're very important. So the first one, for a student who has certain interests vis-a-vis a student who's completely open to exploring, how will the tracks differ? And that's absolutely no problem, because let's say if I'm interested in anime, okay, what you'll end up doing is that's a skill. So you'll end up trying to use that skill in several of the projects you do in year one. So if let's say we're having an event, you'll start thinking how to use anime in that event, to sell that event, to create the experience, right? So you'll start exploring application of your skill. Secondly, in the second year, as we go in for apprenticeships and projects, you will start. So the way the apprenticeships will happen is that in year one, in November, we'll have something called a regen evening, where we invite all these industry partners, right? And the students will be trained for an entire month to present themselves, almost in a Shark Tank style, to the industry partners. So you will talk about your skill, and you will talk about how your skill can be used in their industry. And you will try to get apprenticeships where some part of your skill can be used, right? So it's as simple as that, and it works. Okay, and for somebody who's open, they will explore. So that's straightforward. I hope I've answered that. Yeah. The second question in terms of our own learning, and that's a very valid point. So we began the Enterprise India Fellowship 5 years back with the same Before that, I was running a 4-day program, and with the Enterprise India Fellowship, we began with a 1-year program. And the answer was we began with a cohort of 18 people. And that's how we learned, we grew, we developed. And what we're doing now is based on the learnings and the modules, a dozen odd modules that we have developed in these 5 years. So those modules are done, they are documented, and they're developed, and we're going to use them. But yet it's going to be a learning because it's a slightly different age group, and we're tying it up with the VBA. And therefore, once again, the answer is small cohort. So fairly good sized team and small cohort, so that we can learn and respond quickly.
Yeah, actually, my question is somewhat linked to questions Jaideep asked. You had mentioned that self-awareness.
Yeah.
Building self-awareness. So how do you plan to do that?
Yeah. So we that's something that we've already been doing in these last 5 years, and 2 processes that we've used, or 3 processes that have worked beautifully for us. One is something called conflection, which is a process of reflective writing, guided reflective writing, which our students are a part of. And we have about 120 pieces of reflective writing on our website. I'm happy to share that link. You can go and see what students write. And in this process of thinking and writing, that journey begins, because they learn to be vulnerable and speak about things that you normally don't speak about. 2 is one-to-one coaching process, and where we use something called a coaching mindset, which is just asking questions and not giving answers. So just a Socratic method of thinking about questions and following through on those conversations over a period of time, right? And doing this, it becomes a culture of sharing, of being vulnerable and exploring and making mistakes. And slowly it starts happening. So I can't say that there is a formula. I can't say that, yeah, it's done, self-awareness has happened. But I can say that, yes, I think we've been successful in creating that culture. I don't think I'm that self-aware fully, but it's a journey. And I think we've been very successful in initiating that journey. And when you read some of those conflection blogs written by our students, you will feel that right away. So I'll share that with all of us. Yes, Prasanna, sorry, you've had your hand up for a while. So
yeah, it's his father actually. So I had a question, right? Isn't, as per NEP, isn't the UG degree supposed to be 4 years yet?
Yeah, so that is the direction that the NEP is taking. Definitely, it's a strong recommendation, but it's not going to happen immediately. And also, NEP is not 100% clear about certain types of institutions which are research-based programs will be. But so right now we have positioned it as a 3-year program, but we will evolve with that. Even if you see out there in the colleges, they are also still figuring how it's going to work. But that's a definite direction, and we are going to adapt to that direction.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Yes, Nandini, good to see you again.
I just wanted to ask a small question that what is like the size of the cohort that you'll be taking in? Like,
so we are looking at a cohort of 30 to 40 students.
okay. And another small question was, I looked at what you're presenting and all. It sounds very good, very well and good, something very interesting. But how do I know that it is going to work the way you are trying to put it there? Because like many a times we intend for something to happen, like we make a plan, but many a times it doesn't turn out to be because other people like. So how do I know that?
Very good question, Nandini, and a very practical question. You don't know. That's the first reality. You don't know. So you're going to have to take a risk. But I would suggest that you come and spend a few days and see what's happening here. Happy to share numbers of some of our fellows who've been a part of this program across 5 years. You can speak to them. Happy to share numbers of some parents. You can speak to them and understand. So we are not starting from zero. I've been working with youth for last 10 years. And enterprise is there from last 5 years. So I think the best thing you can do is go and speak to, there are 74. So you can speak to as many as you like, and we are happy to share all the names with you. And I think that's the best research that you can do. And then you have to take a leap.
Okay, I had another question. Like it's just
Yeah, sure.
So as far as I know, India is kind of like a merit-based society. So whether you're from IIM or IIT or a reputed college kind of matters. So how is that working out? I mean, like you said,
Yeah. So see, that's a great question. And I don't think India is a society that the whole world is like that. Right. So I say I'm from IIM Ahmedabad. So immediately people's ears perk up and they listen to me. Right. But all that does is gives me a entry into the door. After that, if I talk nonsense, even you're not going to listen to me. And if I behave stupidly, you're not going to give me a chance. And if I don't perform, it's over. So at the end of the day, every company and every organization cares about output. Right. And if I'm a person who can create output, then I'm in business. So the question you're asking me, how do I know it's going to work? You're not asking me what my degree is. You're asking me, are you giving output? And if I can show you that I've given output, you're going to trust me. So at the end of the day, we are all self-serving and we want growth. We want output. And if somebody can give output, that's all that matters. Unless you're going to be a brain surgeon, then you better get all the degrees that you need.
Okay. And okay. Thank you.
Yes, Dola. Sorry, you had a hand up for a while. Thanks, you share this.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Actually, my daughter is sitting next to me, and one earphone is with her and one is with me.
Oh,
so,
how sweet.
yeah. So, my question is that your program is wonderful. It's got the right amount of experiential learning and industry experience and industry partnership, and it's also a business degree. I was wondering what happens to some children who are not really interested in a business degree.
Yeah.
So, for example, I'll be very upfront and direct. My daughter is wanting to pursue foreign languages. She wants to be a foreign language expert. She's already she already knows a couple of foreign languages. She's preparing for those. She's taking the required certifications. However, she would love to have more industry exposure. For example, working as a in partnership with some companies which need language experts. Whether it's in business or even if it's interpretation, translation, it could be literary, it could be content based, it could be industry based. She might not need support in getting the degree because that we can manage on our own. So because for languages, we don't really need university degree. It's okay to get those particular certifications, which she will be doing on her own. But we would like to have some support for say a year or two in the industry, actual exposure.
Absolutely. That's a great question. And I'm just going to share the screen. So we have thought about this and we've designed for this. And while we are saying that the standard degree that we are plugging in is a BBA, I know that there will be some people who are interested in something else who are, can we see the slide with the two arrows? So that's where, if you remember the slide with the two big arrows, one is the undergraduate program and which offers all these things, our program, and the one is the degree arrow, right? So we can talk about this offline, but if you are not interested in that BBA line, right, that's fine for us. It doesn't matter because our program is about the big arrow. Okay. Or if you want to do something else differently, we can have a chat about that and see how to plug that in. The only challenge here is that, let's say if you're interested in doing language-based stuff, right? We would want you to be, yes, like the question that was asked earlier, we would want you be focused on that language, but also be willing to explore around that. If you're going to be very focused that I'll only do things that are 90% language related, then it may be a challenge. But if you're willing to take that as the core and explore around that, then it can work brilliantly well.
Right. Now, like, for example, along with languages, learn certain business skills,
Yes.
presentation skills, writing,
Yes.
communication, content development,
Exactly.
all that.
And learn
of
how
course,
language
of
as a skill, and learn how language as an ability can be applied in different contexts, right?
Yeah.
In a
Of course,
sales context.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's where then
That's
it can
given.
become very powerful.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I
Okay.
can see Shweta has also a question, and then I would like to,
Yeah. Hi, Aditya. Good
Hi,
evening.
Shweta. Good evening.
Yeah. So I would just like to know, I think my son has, directly asked you the question. You haven't looked at the chat box, but
Oh, I'm so sorry.
yeah. So I'm asking the question. He hasn't given his 12th and doesn't plan on doing so. Is he still eligible for this program?
Great question. Thank you so much for this question. And similar answer to what Dola said. If you don't want to go for that degree wala black arrow and you want to focus on our program, then absolutely fine. We have an application process. As long as you complete that and you are clear that that's what you're going for, our program is designed to keep you fully engaged for the entire 3 years.
Okay, that's absolutely great.
We are only got that degree arrow because that degree thapa you want. So if you don't want that thapa, that's absolutely fine with us.
So, but do you get a degree at the end of your program? Some sort of?
No. So if you don't have a 12th, you're not going to get a degree. What you're going to get is a certificate from us. You're going to get letters of recommendation. You're going to get professional skill certification that he could do along. He won't get a degree.
Okay. Also, I would just like to add that he has been doing something. He has been learning. There is constant learning on his end. In areas of interest that he likes. So yes, so that's why he doesn't intend on giving his 12th, but he wants to explore other opportunities that come by in way of such programs.
Absolutely fine. I mean, that is absolutely fine. And he can get a bunch of certifications, a bunch of experiences. And I don't see that being a challenge in any apprenticeship or any industry opportunity. None of them are going to care about whether he's got the degree or not. Like I said, they're only going to care about how smart he is and how much he can do.
This is a huge relief as a parent. Hearing this is like a big burden off.
I hear you. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yes, Nandita, I think y'all have something else that you wanted to share.
Yeah, I think one of the things is that most of the industry partners you have seem to be in the corporate line. Do you have partners who are not in the corporate line? Social sector, wealth, animals, protection, anything, farming, environment, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking this question. And the answer is a resounding yes. It may be sounding corporate, but we are working with, there's a friend of ours who's running a stud farm, and they're doing a course on leadership based on horses. And there are some artists, there are some authors, there are, somebody who's a fitness trainer. So look, it's like this. If we've worked with a bunch of social impact organizations in that list also, and it's very simple. If one of our students says that I'm more interested in, in DJing, it's not difficult for us to go out and create 3 tie-ups with DJs in the city. That's the easiest thing to do. So absolutely, it's not at all corporate focused but it's industry focused. So whatever you do at the end of the day, you're trying to create value in the economy through whatever skill, ability, knowledge you have.
So then why is it that even in the 3rd year, when they're spending 8 months or 9 months with a company, why is it limited only to Pune? And
okay, so that's a great question. I've just said limited to Pune because, like the question came, is the first time we're doing it. But to be very honest, by the end of the 2nd year, see, it's just a question of us also and the parent family and the family of the student feeling confident enough in their maturity. So from a program design point of view, in the 3rd year, if they were to get a project in Mussoorie, it's fine as long as the family and us, we feel comfortable with their readiness to go and do that. So just to keep that constraint, I've said it's in Pune, but from a program design point of view, That's fine. But second year, we wanted to be in Pune because second year, we want them to come 1 day a week back to enterprise. Because we feel that 2 years of grooming is needed. By the third year, I feel more comfortable letting them go and doing things more remotely.
Yeah, that's why I only asked about the third year. And the travel, where does the travel component fit into the program in terms of how many days, why exactly, and where, how is it planned? Do they get to plan it themselves? Just if you can.
So we have a small travel component planned in the first year, the end of 6-7 months. And we've planned it on a model where they have to go and visit small towns in India. And they have to travel in groups of 3s and 4s. And each city, each town, they have to do some research and activity. Happy to take that offline and share that with you. But if someone wants to do an individual traveling project in the second year, we can work with them and the family to do that. So from that point of view, we are flexible. As long as it fits within a larger structure, we are flexible. If someone wants to take that on or do a little bit more of travel in the second year, replace one of the apprenticeships with a specific travel, as long as there's an outcome or there's a focus, right? We can work on that. So right now, being a small program, and we're trying to design it that way, that within a structure, there is certain flexibility. So thanks for asking that. I'll take, I'd like to, I know there are some more questions and happy to speak offline also. I'm asking our team to share a link. So if anybody is interested, for yourself or someone else, if you can fill up the form on the link, so we'll know that we can get back to you. I would like to also just take a few minutes we have a bunch of our current students, our fellows and partners on this call, and I would like to just open up the space for anyone who's been a part of enterprise as a program, as a partner or a fellow. If there's anything that you'd like to share. So any of the partners or fellows, if you'd like to share something that you think will bring a little light to this conversation, because you have been a part of the program, I would love to open up the space for a few minutes for that. And then those who have some more questions and are happy to stay on, we can do that.
So hi everyone. I'm Steon Carvalho. I've been a part of the fellowship program. So currently I work in the capacity of a product manager at a startup. So I think there was a question asked on self-awareness, and I just wanted to unmute myself and answer that. I think probably one of the huge element of this program for me personally has been the internal journey, probably that element of writing a reflective blog. I think, self-awareness is a huge bucket that one is going to get out of this program. And I mean, just to speak about my journey, I mean, when the fellowship started and I was given my first project, it was an actual client project, a marketing strategy project for an organization, and I was like blown away. I mean, I was totally terrified. I'm going to work with an actual client, and probably that was something that was unimaginable to me, and it was completely out of the box. And I think over each month I could track my progress. I could see that I'm developing skills, and that difference was measurable. Every week, every 15 days, I could see, oh, this is something that I've learned. So I think the experience has been just out of the box personally for me. So yeah, that's what I want to share, and probably happy to have a conversation with anyone offline as well on that.
Hi, I'm Khushi. I joined Enterprise a while back, and for me, it was mainly the experience that I got working with industries that are so different. So I've always known that I was hoping to join the real estate industry, but I didn't know what area or what really interested me. So through Enterprise, I was able to work with an author. I was able to work with a cookware company, which is really interesting. And through that, I realized what I was really interested in. So this varied experience was something that I got through Enterprise, which was very helpful for me.
Okay, so I would like to go now. For me, as Adi said about the self-awareness, it's about the confliction. So I will just break it down. It's mainly about the word self-reflection. And we get self-aware about what we want to do or what we don't want to do. Like, we get clarity about it. It's not like perfectly clear, but you know what you feel like doing. and about your thoughts, and also controlling your emotions, or whatever people say about in TED Talks, like control emotions, control your thoughts. We get to used to it while putting your thoughts on the paper and writing it. So yeah, I have been like deep into the confliction sector while pursuing my enterprise program. And till now, I have written about 13 blogs, and I have always enjoyed, and I have also took a responsibility of curating questions and putting it for other people, by interviewing to the other of different content, other entrepreneurs, uh, to solve problems what they actually think of when they're of my age or something like questions. And I got clarity about what is an entrepreneur, what is a businessman, or an ordinary person, what are the different thoughts and what makes them uh, at the top of the mountain people, and also having a broad view at the same time and not giving up, because sometimes I feel people get emotional to their business. And one thing I really shocked about, they said about that, don't get emotional for your business, get emotional for your discipline and your routine. So yeah, that's something that I was clear
Nice one.
about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, can I go next?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so hi everyone. I would like to share two things that I found out after doing the fellowship. One is that, first of all, I come from a family business background, and even my family had some expectations that I had to join my family business right after my college, or contribute to it. But I had several interests into other things that I wanted to explore and see if I could get professional into those things also. And one of those things was coffee. I have been brewing coffee now for almost now 7 to 8 years. And I didn't know how to get professional into it. I didn't know if I go to a coffee company, what would I contribute to them. But one of the projects that I did with Enterprise was with a coffee e-commerce company based out of Bangalore. And it was a 2-month project. And after that project, the owner and the team called me, and they asked me, if you're free for next 6-7 months, join us full time. And that was a blessing for me. I actually got that opportunity. I went to Bangalore. I worked with them full time, and actually understood how coffee industry works and is it really for me or not. And also other thing, output is that now I'm able to say that I'm free, in a sense that I'm able to even contribute to my family business, but at the same time I'm able to do multiple things and not just stuck to one thing. So I'm able to take action on what really I want to do according to me.
Can I go next?
Sure.
Yeah. So hello, hi everyone. My name is Tarun, and I'm currently working as an executive assistant at Bansal Forest Product. It's a timber industry, and as a part-timer at Enterprise, a design and knowledge catalyst. So basically, I'm a distance learner, and Enterprise has played a biggest role in my life because I come from Jodhpur, and I wanted more of a exposure to outer city, outer people who can mentor me, the different projects, the different businesses, and Enterprise gave me that platform. So for me, there was no college, there was only Enterprise, and like mentors, projects, business, it fulfilled all the part of me. And now I can continue to say I'm working with both two companies, and I can solve problems on my own.
Yes, Khushi, you have your hand up.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
So everyone, I've been a part of Enterprise since January, and I've also known Adi since a couple of years. And I just want to say that I'm so grateful that I have this network and connection with the entire Enterprise team and the members of the team, because it has been a very helpful journey for me. And as I'm in London right now, I'm pursuing my master's, and it has shown me the importance of how just being a part of Enterprise was such a +1 for me while I'm here right now. So yeah, like everyone who's planning to yeah, be a part of enterprise in the future for the degree, just know that I want to stop doing my masters and join the degree.
Wow, so sweet. Yeah, that means a
Thank
lot.
you.
Those are big words. Thank you so much. I mean, it just, a teacher's heart cannot be more fulfilled other than, I mean, there's no other way to fulfill a teacher's heart. So thanks, guys, for sharing those things. Um, I think there were a few more thoughts. We are at 8:15, and I'm happy to take a couple of more questions if there are. We will thank you for being here, and we'll definitely share a program prospectus, etc. That's ready. So, is there anybody else who wants to ask anything or say anything?
Just a quick question, Aditya.
Anji, yes.
How many students currently who have done the project? I mean, it was so wonderful to hear all of you. Thank you. Are you all from Pune, or have some of you traveled to Pune to do this course with Enterprise?
Actually, they're from different places. And when COVID began, we actually made our program hybrid. So from 11 towns and cities, like Tarun, he did most of his program while he was in Jodhpur. Khushi is right now in London. So Enterprise has been a hybrid program. But this program, the undergraduate program, multidisciplinary entrepreneurial development, we're going to have the students here in Pune. Yes, Dola, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, actually, I don't have a question. I had my question and I asked it. I just want to say that I don't work for Enterprise, but I want to say something because I have been meeting Aditya personally in different community programs in Pune. I went to their space and I met a lot of the fellows, and I always forget there is a fellow and then there is a partner. There is a fellow and a partner. I think fellows are who have passed out, and partners are who are currently doing their internships, apprenticeship. I think I got it. And I met a whole bunch of them also on another networking program that they did. And a whole bunch of them from different parts of the country had come for that program. And in the space in Pune, they were the ones who are right now in Pune. And I must say that I felt a very good positive energy from all the youngsters. And they were really receiving something is what I felt. And there was a lot of collaborative energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and something hopeful is what I felt. And I'm just saying they're not paying me, and I'm not going to get a discount for saying this. Just speaking from my heart. And I recently was in a very lovely facilitators festival where I was a participant. So was Aditya, and Daria was there. And we were all facilitating and taking part in other people's work. So so it was very wonderful. So I would, if anyone is really interested, just come here, meet them, see the space. It's only, I think you will get an idea, even more energy wise, how it feels. I think that would work. That's my.
Thanks so much, Dola. That means such a lot. Thank you so much. Genuinely, friends, it's been tough putting this idea together and presenting it, and connecting all those dots. It's been challenging for us. We've gone through several rounds of our own self-doubt and questioning, but meeting lots of people from universities, from colleges, teachers, from the community, facilitators has given us a lot of confidence. Honestly, I think every entrepreneur tries to solve the problem that pained them the most. And I think I'm doing this because I wish I had something like this when I was doing my engineering. That's all from us. Thank you so much for your love, for your blessings, for being here, Many of you are program